What's up, guys? It's Break Shift. We've got new cards in Master Duel, and I've got a new deck. This is Materiactor Altergeist. Altergeist is one of my favorite archetypes, and even though they got new support not too long ago, they've definitely kind of fallen off a bit. And recently, we just got a ban list that put Solemn Judgment to 2, which I took personally, because Solemn Judgment is one of the only ways that you can beat all of the many cards out there like Duster and Heavy Storm, and it's really frustrating when you're playing a normal, like, trap-based control-style Altergeist deck and you're trying to set your trap cards and trade one for one and your opponent just drops a Feather Duster and you have nothing you can do about it. So I figured, why not make an Altergeist deck that incorporates a trap-based Omni-Negate into your combo line so that you can stop the back row blowout cards and actually still play your normal game plan. And this is what I came up with. I've been really interested in the Materiactor cards since they released, but the new support they just got is what makes this possible. In particular, it's all about this guy, Materiactor Altergeist. And we're also going to use another card that I've been keeping my eye on for a long time, Rescue Hedgehog. I've been wanting to make a deck that utilizes this guy for ages, and this is finally the perfect opportunity for it. So, what is the deal with Rescue Hedgehog? He's a level 4 beast. Like pretty much all the rescue monsters, you're expected to commit your normal summon to this guy. Then you can banish him to special summon 2 level 3 or lower monsters from your deck. They have to have the same type, attribute, and level. One's a normal, one's an effect monster. They're negated on the field, and they're destroyed during the end phase. So it's a pretty powerful, I mean, I guess you could call it a search effect, right? You get to grab basically any level 3 or lower monster out of the deck, but it's negated. So how are we going to make use of that? Well, we're going to grab Altergeist Multifaker, who is a level 3 Dark Spellcaster, and the vanilla that'll go with that is Sealmaster Mace. This guy's OG as hell. Just look at him. What a baller. So we're grabbing these 2 cards. They will be negated on the field, but we don't need to worry about that because we can overlay for Materiactor Altergeist. He just requires 2 or more level 3s. He can detach a material to either special summon a Materiactor from the deck or add a spell trap. We're mostly interested in the special summon effect because we can special summon this guy, Zeptwing. If you control a Materiactor, you can special summon him from the hand, so it's not the worst thing in the world if you draw it. And if it's a normal or special summoned, or flipped face up, you get to add a Materiactor card, and then you can also special summon a level 3 normal monster. So we detach Mace for the Exegard, summon our Zeptwing out of the deck. Zeptwing will bring back the Mace and also add this, Materiactor Critical. It's a counter trap that can negate a spell trap or monster effect by adding a Materiactor Xyz material to your hand. So when the opponent activates something like a Duster, we activate Critical, it's going to add the Multifaker, who is still material on the Exegard, to our hand, negate their card, and then in a new chain, Multifaker is going to see that we activated a trap card, and she will activate. We get to summon out Silquitus from the deck, and we've got our way into the Altergeist line. So that's the core combo that I built this deck around. Unfortunately, Hedgehog is not really searchable. There is a card that adds rescue monsters, but your opponent has to have more life points than you, so adding that in to try and see Hedgehog more often would probably just make the deck less consistent. So we need to have some other ways that we can make plays and get off the ground. One of the most obvious things we can do is, of course, play Altergeist Meluseek. This is your other really good normal summon in the deck. You summon her, you link her off, and whenever she's sent to the graveyard, she gets to add an Altergeist card. So you make yourself a Linkaribo, you add Malwisp. Malwisp is like a Poplar. When you add it to hand, you special it, and when she's specialed, she brings back an Altergeist from grave. So we bring back Meluseek. We make Hextia. Hextia also has the effect that if she's sent to the graveyard, you add an Altergeist. So then we'll use Hextia plus our Linkaribo, and we can make this guy, Silohat Rabbit. He's generic, so that'll trigger the Hextia to add Multifaker to hand if we don't have the Hedgehog line to get Multifaker access. And then Silhouette, you're probably used to seeing this card setting Angel Stature Azuroon, but there's actually an Altergeist trap monster, this one, Emulate Elf. So if we do this, this line gets us Emulate Elf set on the field, and we've added Multifaker to our hand. So then on the opponent's turn, we can flip summon Emulate Elf, and that will trigger Multifaker. It's important that we have an Altergeist trap monster because Multifaker says that you cannot special summon monsters during the turn you activate her effect, except Altergeists. So if you were setting something like Azuroon, you would not be allowed to activate Multifaker. So that's why Emulate Elf is pretty important. We also have one other decent play starter here with Terratop. This is a way to get into the Materiactor side of the deck. If we don't open with Hedgehog, you just, Terratop for Takatomborg, make a rank 3. This guy can just get you the trap if you have Multifaker in hand already, or if you have Meluseek, you can get to Multifaker that way, and you can still have the critical weaved into your line. And then also, of course, we're playing Fiendsmith, because while the regular Materiactor combo with like Hedgehog and stuff, while it does just set up Multifaker plus critical, it also does more than that. Because Exegard summons Zeptwing from the deck, right, and Zeptwing brings back Meisei, we're going to have just 2 bodies laying around, and what better thing to do with 2 bodies right now than go into the Fiendsmith combo? It is worth noting, of course, that you can't actually go straight into Fiendsmith from Zeptwing plus Meisei, because where's the card? Closed Moon, there she is, requires 2 effect monsters, and Meisei is a normal monster, so we can't do that immediately. So instead, we're going to turn Meisei into Artemis. This is useful because Artemis can also be made using any level 4 or lower spellcaster, so we can use Meluseek as link material for this if we've already gone through Link Karibo and we're in like a grind game situation or something. That's why we're not playing something like Link Spider instead. This one has a bit more utility. I really would have liked to fit both, or even do some other stuff beyond that, but the extra deck is really tight here, actually. It's very hard to fit in everything that we want. Let's see, are there any other cards in the main deck I need to discuss? I don't think, really. I mean, we are playing Fiendsmith in Paradise. This is, like, a little bit weird, given that we're only on the 1 Lacrima, but it is a trap card, it's thematic with the Altergeists, and it's a fun card to resolve. It comes up in the grind sometimes, so it seemed appropriate to put it in for this deck. The 1 Nib, you could replace this with just about anything. It's here as like a semi-decent cross-out target. Cross-out, I think, is really important if you're ever trying to play any deck that wants to resolve Multifaker, because this card is so bad into hand traps. Obviously, Ash Blossom just, prevents her from accomplishing anything, and then you look like an idiot. But also, of course, Maxi is very good against Multifaker because she summons twice on separate chains. She summoned herself once, and then she summons, or sorry, not on separate chains, in separate instances. It's not like Exosister Martha or anything where they both summon at once. If you are resolving Multifaker and your opponent Maxis, they'll draw once for the Multifaker summon, and then once for whatever you grab out of the deck, usually Silquitus, of course, with your Multifaker. So you're so bad into Maxi. Obviously, you're bad into Ash as well, but I frankly just didn't actually have room for Ash given all the stuff I want to play. So we're just on the cross out. You could play Ash instead of Nib if you want, but Nib is decent going second as well. And our go second abilities are not the greatest. If you draw Imperm Multifaker, that's crazy, but that's not very likely. So that's pretty much everything we have going on in the main deck. I am playing 2 Meisei. You could definitely argue that a deck like this should not be 40 cards, that it should be, like 45 or something else a little closer to 50 maybe, because there's a decent number of things we don't want to draw. We don't want to draw Meisei, we don't want to draw Takatomborg, we don't really want to draw Malwisp or Zeptwing or Critical, but I just wanted to see Hedgehog as much as I could because I think this combo is really fun. So I kept it at 40 just so that we can try and hard draw into our boy Hedgehog as much as possible. Everything else, I think it's, should be pretty self-explanatory, fairly standard stuff in the extra deck here. All of our Fiendsmith stuff, our limited Altergeist engine. We are playing Adminia And Prime Banshee, this works with Pukuari, if you're not really familiar with how the Altergeist lines go. If we're in like a go second situation or something, or if it's like turn 3, anything of the sort, you can do your usual line where you go Link off Meluseek for Malwisp, and you can add a card like Pukuari. If you're not needing to add Multifaker to set up interruptions, you get to add Pukuari. This card gets to be used as link material from the hand. So we can go from Hextia into Prime Banshee. Prime Banshee can banish any card to summon an Altergeist from deck. And we climb our way up, or she tributes, she doesn't banish. We climb our way up into Adminia. Adminia gets to set an Altergeist trap, so we can set our protocol, and she has a quick effect permanent steal, where we send off one card we control, and then we take the opponent's card. So this is a really good way to clear boards. It doesn't really trigger any kinds of like floating effects or anything, since the monster never hits the grave. It just is going to move over to our side of the field. If you ever are actually at the point where you're summoning these cards, you should just win on the spot. We do also have, of course, the Agnum Day to try and push for OTKs, making a really giant Desiree, stuff like that. But that is the deck. I've got a handful of replays here for you. It's kind of hard to get great replays with a deck like this, because once it becomes clear that you're playing your strategy as intended, in many cases the opponent just quits. This happens since like forever with Altergeist. People just get so salty when going against this, but anyway. Let's hop into the first replay here. We are going first. I'm going to start with Terratop, since I need to have the empty board, and this will give me an indication if they have some hand traps or anything, but there's no toggles or anything of the sort, so I figure it's probably safe. I'll go ahead and use the Speedroids to make my Silo Hat Rabbit, since the main line with Hedgehog gets me the Altergeist stuff, the Materiactor stuff, and Fiendsmith, but it doesn't get me Silo Hat. So I might as well do that, get the extra trap card set. Never hurts. We did draw Meisei, of course, but that's why we play 2. So we'll do our usual combo here. Gotta make sure you detach Meisei, of course. It's very important that he's in the grave to bring back with Zeptwing, and that Multifaker stays underneath the Exegard. Gonna turn Meisei into Artemis, so that we can do our Fiendsmith combo. And we'll speed through this a little bit here, because this is more or less just normal Fiendsmith stuff. In most cases, I would say if you're going first here, it's probably smarter to make a Caesar than to make a Desiree. The opponent's just going to scoop there. But you can see where we were going. That's pretty much just to show you the core combo visually. Not really a super interesting replay. Here's a bit more involved one. But that's the core combo. It's pretty decent. It gets a lot of interruptions out with relatively little investment. One thing I guess I didn't mention is that the counter trap for the Materiactors, based on the card that you detach from your Xyz monster, you have to apply another effect, and if it's a monster, you have to put one card from your hand back into the deck. So you want to make sure you have one extra card in hand. Otherwise, after you put the Multifaker in your hand, you'll have to put it right back in the deck. So just always keep an extra card in hand. Keep that in mind. Anyway, the opponent here is going to max see me, so I'm not going to grab Zeptwing. Instead, I'm going to use the other version of the effect and just get the trap card directly. We already have Multifaker in hand, so I don't really need to be too worried. I've got decent interruption here. Opponent's going to evenly me, which will force out the critical. Obviously, this way I get to actually use the Multifaker. Here you see I'll put back a card, just like I was talking about. But this way I get to actually use the Multifaker. If I got rid of either of those cards, I can't use the Multifaker effect. So now he still has to play through the Multifaker and the Nib. But he's got the Dark Ruler no more, so my board's negated, can't use Silquitus. And he's going to bust out some Naturia cards here. Naturia, it's an alright deck. Tri-Edge Master going to draw a card here. That's pretty important for him because he's on Runics, and that's going to give him a card in hand to discard for Hugin. But of course he won't have any cards left after the fact, or at least he wouldn't have, except he's got a Sacred Tree here, so he gets to add another Naturia card. He's going to add Blessing, but at least we know he doesn't have a Runic card, so he's not going to be able to draw or anything. He'll bring back and Synchro Summon again. This time it's going to be Baron. And I'm just going to let all of this go because I don't actually really need to push here. He already skipped his battle phase, of course. I have follow-up ready to go here. So we can just contend with the Baron on our turn. I'm going to go ahead and make Hextia here using the Pukuari from hand. That'll trigger Pukuari's effect to add back, but her ability to be used as Link Material in hand is once per duel. Or rather, that's once per turn. The add back from grave is once per duel. She's basically fake advantage is what I'm getting at. We'll go into Moon of the Closed Heaven here. We get to add Maul Wisp off the Hextia, and this is where he chooses to negate with Baron. But that's totally okay by me, because we haven't normal summoned yet, and we still have Tracked in hand even. So we got plenty of extension here. Not a concern at all. We'll go ahead and go into Requiem. We can start doing Fiendsmith combo here. He's got basically nothing left at this point. Can send off the Baron, make our sequence, and this is pretty much it. So he'll scoop it up there. Nice little replay. Let's check out the next one. This is what I've been playing in the World Championship qualifier. Yeah, I mean, I guess I didn't really talk about this earlier, but this is obviously not the best way to be playing Altergeist. It's probably not the best thing to be doing with Materiactor either, but it combines a lot of stuff that I think is really interesting and fun. So that's the main reason I'm playing it, but with that being said, it is still actually a pretty decent deck. It makes good use of Fiendsmith cards. It is good at drawing out disruptions from the opponent. It's a weird off-the-wall deck, so nobody really knows what to expect. Nobody knows where they should or shouldn't be spending their interruptions. Anyway, here we're going to go ahead and do the line with the Speedroids to make Exegard. When this happens, of course, you don't get Mace off of the Zept Wing, but he is just like a free body, so you can use him to make like a Silo Hat or something of the sort. Sometimes he will just end up kind of sitting around, but you know, it's better to have that than for him to be still in the deck as a potential brick. So we'll do our Fiendsmith stuff here. We're just going to make Caesar. Normal summon our Malwisp and make our Silo Hat. We already have Multi-Faker, of course. Set the critical, and we're chilling. Throw out the Max C, and yeah, the opponent just scoops. Just kind of showcasing another way that you can set up a board. Different diverging lines you have, because obviously you're not going to draw Hedgehog super often, even though he's the most powerful starter and the coolest. There's lots of other things that you can do. That's also why we're playing free Multi-Faker, even though our ideal combo is going to sort of search her anyway. It is still just good to draw her naturally, so you don't have to do that. We've drawn Mace here. Not ideal, but that's why we play two. If you're only on one vanilla, like, obviously it sucks to have to play two vanilla bricks, but if you're only on one, it's a disaster when you draw him. Like, your engine just falls apart. So I do think it's kind of necessary, and in a pinch, you can normal summon him just as a body. If I was playing some more Materiactor cards, then it would be even less bad, but like I said, it was kind of hard fitting everything I wanted in the deck as is, and we're light on hand traps and stuff, so definitely didn't have any room for a more expanded Materiactor suite. But the other cards are interesting. I might tinker with them some more and try to make a different kind of deck that uses those other Materiactor cards in an interesting way. But this is what I came up with just on first blush with the cards. The Exegard is a UR, critical is an SR, but everything else, there's hardly any other Materiactor cards in the deck. It's really just like the Zept Wing. So it's a pretty affordable little engine to splash in. A lot of people are playing them with like Goblin Bikers and stuff. A bit more synergy there, obviously, with the whole rank 3 focus of Goblin Bikers. Anyway, another little showcase of how the deck works there. That's all the replays I got for y'all today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Leave some comments, let me know what y'all thought about the deck, if you try it out, how it went for you. I will be back later with some more decks, and I'll see y'all then. Peace.